have a willingness to fail.
Don't be embarrassed about your failure as long as you try everything you can.
If you're afraid of failing, you won't get very far.
If you don't fail, you're not even trying.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Fail Up Podcast, where we explore the stories of growth through adversity and turn adversity into advantage. I'm your host, Adil Malik, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by my longtime friend, Alex Stewart, the one and only. You may know her from Love. What's up, Alex? You may know her from Love Island, but today we're diving in a little bit deeper than just what you saw on that reality TV show. We're going to dive into her journey from navigating the highs and lows of reality TV to making bold career changes and adjusting to life in a new city. We're going to talk about all the challenges of relationships and dating in big cities and all the twists and turns that Alex has gone through throughout her 20s. So I'm really excited to have you on the show, and welcome, Alex.
Thanks so much for having me. I love Adil, you guys. He's one of my best friends, so I'm so proud of him for this.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, we actually haven't even caught up in a long time.
I know.
It's like the first time I've seen your face in
since
years.
You got married.
Yeah, since I got married, basically. And Alex is like one of my friends, like a lot of my friends, but she's definitely one of the core friends I have, where I feel like we could not see each other for 30 years and we're gonna be like old as hell and be like, hey, what's up, Alex? And we just
always
pick up where we left off and nothing changes.
You're like my sibling.
Literally.
You can never get rid of me.
I miss you, though.
I miss you too.
So
how's married life?
A whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
I'll come out to LA to talk about that one.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So Alex, I'm so excited. Tell me, let's from the beginning, because besides Love Island, I want people to get to know you on a more personal level. You obviously grew up on the East Coast. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing, where you grew up and school, and then eventually the move to LA.
Yeah, so I grew up in Philadelphia, 30 minutes outside. I feel like everyone says that. And I grew up in like pretty normal family. I went to an all-girls Catholic school for high school. Pretty much shaped me as the person I am today, whether that's a good or a bad thing. I played a lot of sports. Yeah, I feel like it's a good thing. I played a lot of sports and I ended up going to Penn State, but then ended up moving up to LA when I graduated. And I decided to move to LA because I had always wanted to live in LA ever since I can remember. Like, I was a child that was obsessed with California. I think because Laguna Beach was really popular when we were younger. Like, it just looked so cool that kids were going to bonfires after school and like having boyfriends and you meet up on the boardwalk. Like, that's our dream. That's our summer. And then we have to go like back to winter and just hate our lives. So I was like, I want to go live in that place. It looks like a dream. So I just always had it in the back of my mind, whether, I don't really know the true reason. But I ended up doing a internship my junior year of college with a couple of our best friends from school. And I worked at a talent agency in LA, and it was the best summer ever. I lived on the UCLA campus and I just kind of got accustomed to what it was like here. I didn't love it, but I loved the weather and I loved that it was sunny every day. And it just made me feel like I was in it. Like, because we live in a kind of, I don't want to say slow paced place back on the East Coast, but it's not like LA. It's not where you can just go do 100 different things in the day. You could go to the mountains and the beach and then be back at home by 5. So that was the real reason that I moved after my internship. I pulled the trigger when we graduated and I moved out with our best friend, Michelle, and we navigated LA for a year together, living in the depths of Hollywood.
Oh my God. Hollywood is not what people think, by the way.
It is not. You think it's like this golden walkway that you're going to walk down, and Hollywood Boulevard is not a place you would love to be.
Straight trash. It's not glamorous. It was glamorous like when JFK was president, but
yeah, literally.
Yeah, I agree. Like the closest we had, I didn't even understand the beauty of California until I moved out there, because the closest we have is like Jersey Shore, and Jersey Shore just can't touch it.
It doesn't compare.
Yeah, it doesn't compare to it. There's like cliffs like off the ocean. I think it's one of the most beautiful places in the U.S. There's like nowhere like the coastline of California.
For sure.
Tell us about the agency. So you worked for an agency, you had this internship. What did you not like about it? Was it the people, the crowd, or was it just a lot of work?
I think I was more jealous of like all the people that were actually represented by the agency because I didn't know when you were younger the whole rule. I don't know if it's still a thing, but you like don't work at an agency if you want to be an actor. So, of course, I walked in, I was like, I want to be an actress. And they were like, don't tell anyone that. So, I kind of hated, which is terrible because I should have just done it for myself. Did I lose you?
No, I'm here.
Okay. You disappeared. What was I saying? Oh, the talent agency.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can you see me?
Yeah. You're really blurry though.
Alex?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, can you see me though?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll like edit this part out, don't worry. But go on.
Oh,
The
yeah,
talent
no
agency.
worries. No, so they represented like a bunch of actors, all of that kind of stuff, and I was submitting them for roles. And back then, that's what I thought I really wanted to do, just because I hadn't explored anything that I really liked, like when I was in school and all of that kind of stuff, because I was way too scared. So it was more like submitting people for roles that I was like, I feel like I could do that. That was kind of a hit home for me. And answering the phones just gave me so much anxiety because agents are really mean. Like, if you fuck up, they're gonna rip you a new one. Like, they're gonna be mean to you. And I have a problem with like people being mean to me. So
Yeah, you take it
I-
take it personally. You're
I-
like, why are they talking to me like
yeah.
this?
Yeah, exactly. And I just didn't know, I didn't know how to receive that kind of feedback and take it and actually apply it to doing a better job. So I really hated it, but they loved me. They asked me to come work for them actually. And I was like, I just can't. So then I moved out after that internship and I started working at the Parlor, which was this amazing sports bar that we used to go watch Penn State games at. And I just loved the energy. So I was like, why don't I just work here? So as I was doing that, I also started as a publicist. That's what I majored in college. I got a job as a publicist for different beauty brands, still best friends with the girl that hired me
Holy
like
crap.
from day one.
When was this? Was in 2015, right?
2015. Probably like the very end, December 2015. And I worked as a beauty publicist for, God, I'm still doing it today, but I obviously went on Love Island, so I quit my job, and yeah, that was that.
What's a beauty publicist?
A beauty publicist is, so think of a publicist for like a celebrity, they're kind of like their handler. They do everything. They set everything up for them. They get them magazine deals, all of that. It's that, but getting beauty brands into Walgreens or like mass, big stores like Walmart, or taking like a salon brand and getting them on social media or, giving them an online presence. Building the brand in any way is what we do. So it could be from anything from mass market to salon, small.
Yeah.
And
boutique
it's
style, like salons.
it's crazy.
That's wild. I didn't
It's
know about
it's
that.
insane.
Yeah, and for everyone
Yeah.
listening, one of the reasons why I wanted Alex on the show too is because I have a lot of friends that like they have jobs and they're in kind of traditional paths or they're in tech or with startups. I think Alex is one of my few friends that has a very, very different background, like not just reality
Mhm.
TV, but also, especially for people that are listening that are from the East Coast, it's not normal to hear people with, working as a publicist and doing all these different things.
Mhm.
And LA has a culture of like every other person you meet is apparently an actor or a comedian, even if they're not. So it's a very, very different world out there, and it's all revolved around kind of entertainment and just being in the public eye in general. So okay, that's
Totally.
cool. Did not know about that. And then, so wait, did you always want to be on a reality TV show? I don't think I never asked you this. What was the plan?
No, I honestly was terrified because I thought I wanted to be an actor for so long. So I feel like the golden rule is don't go on reality TV if you want to be an actor because you'll never be taken seriously. But I kind of was like, let's just do it. Like, let's just see. It could be fun. Me and my boyfriend broke up. So I was just like, why not do it and get the experience? Because it's life-changing no matter how it turns out, like.
Yeah,
Could turn out bad,
you
but
have so much exposure. Everyone's like, you have the whole country watching you.
totally that. And even just going for yourself and growing through all the ways that they test you. I mean, you learn so much about yourself. You learn how you process emotions and how you like are not doing it correctly, or not doing it correctly, but maybe not handling it in the way that you could if you were at your best self. So it's really like almost going and having a reflection painted back to you, because when you watch it, you're like, who the fuck is that? That's not me.
Yeah.
Even just being edited down, it's such a weird thing, but I would never trade the experience for anything in my life, because it shaped me into who I am today.
Did you apply for it, or do you have like an agent? Like how do you even get onto a reality TV show?
So a casting director reached out to me, but if anyone wants to apply, you can literally apply online. Just don't get scammed. Don't pay any money if they ask you for any. That's not a thing. But they reached out on Instagram, and I think they still do it. So check your DMs. And they basically just say, hey, we're casting this reality show. You'll probably think it's a scam when you read it, because it reads as though it's a scam. And you kind of just go through a bunch of interviews. I ended up being the very first person they ever saw for casting of Love Island US. So that was such a fun little tidbit that I learned. Basically, we do what we were doing here. We're talking over the computer, talking over Zoom or whatever. And you go through like probably, I'm exaggerating, but like 10, it seems like 10 before you even get to knowing if you're even in the running, because they have group A, they have group B, they have group C. So once you get through all of the interviews and they decide they want to package all of the things you've said on Zoom and send it to a network and pitch you for the actual show, you have to go to final week. So a bunch of other people are there as well. You stay in a hotel for a full week. You are literally confined to your hotel. They take your hotel keys. Like, you can't leave. You have to lie if anyone asks why you're there. And you basically
do they kick you off the show if you violate any of those rules? Like, what if you get caught with a phone or something?
well, this is during finals, so I don't know about the show, because you can't really do it. You can't really like break the rules with the show, because you have a chaperone most of the time with you, who's holding your key, who's coming to get you from your room. Like, you can't leave without your chaperone.
Holy crap.
So
yeah,
it's crazy. But the finals is wild, because it's like, it's almost like a cattle call, but you know that you've kind of made it to the end. But halfway through, they send a lot of people home, because they're like, you didn't make it, whatever. Once you hit going through medical, so you go and see a doctor and you do like a full physical in the hotel, that's when you know like you've made it. And they're like, oh, okay, we're considering you now. Then you have to go do 6-hour psych test. And it's just like a lot of testing. Yeah, you have to meet with a psychologist. They have to assess you. They talk about like things you've gone through.
In case
if
you're like a sociopath and you like kill somebody on the show. Like,
absolutely. Or like they want to know your triggers and like what pisses you off, or like how you're going to react if this happens, or like just that kind of stuff. Getting to know you in a way that they can examine and piece all of you together, see who's going to work with who and who's going to create drama and who's going to clash, all of that kind of stuff. It's so calculated.
What? So then they use all of that information to basically instigate things to make the show more entertaining and dramatic.
Totally. And I will say they do have a psychologist on call the whole time you're there. So like whenever you want to talk to her, I got called into psych a bunch of times because I was like,
holy crap, what?
Fuck this.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's
Love Island is, and also for so people understand, like Love Island also started in England, right? Like it wasn't a show that it came to the US,
the UK, mm-hmm.
And in the UK it was huge. It was like one of the craziest shows, like millions and millions of viewers. So Alex was on the first ever season of Love Island in the state. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy. I did not realize that it was that much work. I thought they just they like watch a casting video, they give you a couple of interviews, and then they tell you you don't have contact to the outside world, and they just put you on the show. I realized it was that kind
no, it's like, it's a really, I think the whole process, I think fully took me about 8 months.
Wow. From basically applying until the show started?
Yep.
Wow. Holy crap. And then so that's like, it's like already kind of a commitment then. Do they pay you for the 8 months that you're leading up to the show or no? No.
Oh my gosh, no. They barely even tell you if you're still in consideration. I mean, they're obviously calling you being like, you're still in the running, like just keep holding on. And and then they call you 3 days before and they fly you out.
So what about
It's
what
like
about
they
the
give
people that
very
make it to like month 6 and then don't make it? That they just wasted 6 months.
Yeah, but like it's not like it's a full-time job. It's more just like you're kind of on edge. You're like waiting for the call, but I feel like when the crazy thing about it is that I just knew in my mind I got it. And like I've never really had that feeling where I just know something is true and it's going to happen and like didn't I don't want to say I didn't worry about it because obviously I thought about it, but I just had this feeling that like I knew I was going and I did.
And it worked out.
It's like I feel like you always know in your gut, like you can just feel it.
Yeah, you know if something's coming or not.
Mhm.
And then when the show started, what was the location?
So it was in Fiji. So I flew, they had me do like some weird flight patterns that I didn't see anyone else who was flying from LA. So they had me go up to San Francisco and then I flew to Fiji. And I was still sitting next to like half the people. I just had no idea.
Yeah, and they didn't tell you, right, that you're flying. Did they tell you it was Fiji?
No.
No, right? Okay, so you found out when you got there and you landed.
Oh, they did. They told us it was Fiji.
Oh, okay. All right. Why did they do
Mhm.
a weird flight pattern then?
To try to like hide everyone from each other, but they still couldn't keep us like all apart because there's
Yeah.
only so many flights.
Yeah. Okay. So what was it like when you got on the show and like meeting everybody, I guess the first meet?
Oh, God. So I was the first girl to walk in and I was just so out of my own depth. Like I had never obviously done anything like this. Obviously super nervous, but the producers really do a great job at talking to you and hyping you up and saying like you need to bring this energy, like we want to make this and this, so go in, grab the champagne, like be excited, scream, go look at everything. So walking in, never experienced a truly out of body experience, but I just remember sitting down and sweating my ass off and being like, I need a paper towel, I can't even breathe. And I just remember it felt like I was watching myself from like above. I don't know. It was so weird. And I felt like everything I was saying, it wasn't actually me saying it, just because
Oh,
it was
that's
so
wild.
odd seeing like all these hot girls just walk in. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so nice to meet you. I mean, it's like the girls' bathroom in college, but it was such a weird experience. And you dive right into talking about your type and what you want in a guy. And like at that point, I didn't freaking know what I wanted. I was dating the biggest losers in the world. Like,
Not really the
so
biggest
I
losers,
was
but
just
like
kind of
not the best guys. Yeah.
not the best guys, but it was just like a very being thrown into it. It's kind of like a baby not being able to swim, and you're like, they're either going to do it or not. And somehow I really am good at adapting to situations and to the people that I'm around. Like I can pretty much find anything in common with a wall. Like I can talk to anyone. I love hearing people's stories and everyone is so interesting, obviously, coming on there. The first week though, I was like, I'm going home. There's no way I can stay and do this. It just feels too weird. It feels too forced. But you get attached in a weird way because you're with these people 24/7. You're talking about everything. I mean, if you're not talking about your love life, you're talking about your family, you're talking about everything. Just they know everything about you. They see how you act 24/7. You're sleeping in the same room as them, sleeping in the same bed as some people. Like, it's very, you always have to be on,
Yeah.
if you think of it that
That's
way.
draining.
Which it's draining and it's like 24/7 it's a lot and you are forced to talk about your emotions, which a lot of people hate, and it's not easy to just kind of say like, oh, I hate being rejected, or like, oh, this guy doesn't like me, that's so embarrassing. Like it's a lot to go through, but it does make you a really strong person. It makes you be able to talk about a lot of different things.
Yeah, be vulnerable. What so
Mhm.
it didn't feel forced at any point? Like everything actually just felt genuine and authentic? Like it's reality
In the
TV.
beginning, it definitely felt forced because the fun thing about the first season was like we were guinea pigs. So they were just testing everything out for the seasons to come, seeing what works, what doesn't. And like obviously some things have to be forced because production has to create a storyline. So there's a big voiceover that will come over the villa and they'll say, Alex, go pull Elizabeth for a chat. And so they'll tell you where to go and where to sit. And like, obviously, you know what they want you to talk about. Like, you're not like, so how's your dog feeling? You know, like, how's your dog back at home? You're like, so what did Zach say to you? Like, or what did he do? Like, you know, so, and if you don't get there, they're going to help you get there. They're going to help get the content that they want to be shown. I know it's a lot different now, and probably, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. It's very produced. That's why it's such a hit this season. They know what they're doing. And obviously it doesn't, I don't know how to say it because it doesn't feel forced in the moment, because you're kind of like, everything feels forced at the same time, because you're like, I'm in a villa in Fiji and I don't know these people and I have to talk about everything in my life. But they do in such a way that you feel really comfortable if you have someone to talk to, and they're going to push you to get to where they want you to be. And when I look back on it, I'm grateful that they pushed, even though in the moment I was like, fuck this, I'm leaving. There were moments that I was like, I'm leaving, you guys have fun, find someone else.
They pushed you out of your comfort zone in front of on national television. And then you so tell us about, like, towards the end of the show and kind of how that was everything that people saw on TV. I would never watch Love Island. The reason why I watched Love Island was because of Alex, and I obviously had to support one of my homies. But tell us about, like, towards the end of the show, and I want to know more, not just obviously about what the outcome was, but also, like, you were out of your comfort zone in a new experience with all these random people, but you guys were all doing it for the first time, right? So you obviously formed some genuine friendships. I remember we had like a surprise party for you when you came back to LA, and I realized, like, holy crap, like, she really got to know these people. Like, even though you were only there for however many days, it probably felt like years, because you opened up so much and spent every waking second with them. You know what I mean? Like, hours and hours. So tell us about like the end of the show and kind of the farewell with everybody and how that went.
Yeah, the joke is kind of like, a day in there is like a week. So if you're like, I want to date this guy, or like, after a day, it feels normal because you've been with him a week basically in Love Island time. But basically by the end, I mean, you can imagine people are drained. People are getting mad at each other Elizabeth and I got in so many fights about the most ridiculous stuff just because we were so drained by all of it. But at that point, you feel so much like family that it's almost like fighting with siblings. Like, you're like, well, I have to look at him all day and I have to talk to him, so let's just duke it out. And everyone was kind of, it was weird at the end just because it was only 4 couples left. So everyone that we created bonds with had either gotten kicked off in like an emotional way, or didn't end well, or they left in a great way. But it feels like you're losing someone every time someone leaves. And it's almost like you're losing that support system that you had in the beginning to be able to talk about all this stuff. And then you kind of are just left with your partner, and that's great and everything. But like, I don't want to say that I wasn't like in love or whatever. Like, that's crazy that I would say I was in love at that point. But it was just, you get so comfortable again just talking to these people, and it's almost like a safety blanket once you get out, because you feel like you've had this person, they've gone through something really fucking weird with you, and no one else is ever going to understand it in the way that they will. So it almost, like, I feel forms like a trauma bond, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, makes sense.
It feels that way even with the girls. Like, your friends, like, you're just looking around like, no one at home is ever going to get this. They're never going to understand, no matter how much I try to explain. I always used to say to you guys, I wish I had a GoPro on my head so I could just like show you all the footage of everything that you didn't see happen. But the friendships are interesting because I think it's such a staple of Love Island for a lot of the girls and the guys to come out as best friends, are doing everything together. I mean, you see it now with the most recent season, and they're all together all the time because they don't know anything else, because they've been in this weird, almost psychological warfare situation. They're coming out into the real world, into this almost like massive universal judgment from everyone has something to say, and everyone's going to say something that you probably have thought when you were in the villa, and you're like, well, they know. They know.
Yeah.
Or they're criticizing your relationship, or they're criticizing your character, even though they literally don't know you. So it's overwhelming because the show is live, that when you come out of it, like, you're in it with everyone else. They're on the same time as you.
Yeah.
And you're you get your phone back and you're like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
some things I would read, I was just like, my God, this is not normal. So it's definitely an adjustment coming out.
Did
I hope that
it
they've
take a
figured
toll on your mental health, like when you came out? I didn't even like think about it that deeply. But
I think no. It's a good question, because I think it hits for everyone so differently. Like, I really feel like a lot of the boys directly after had some issues, and obviously I don't know like the details, but a lot of them, it hit them right away. But I feel like, at least for me and a couple of the girls I know, like, it took years to like kind of work through everything, just because it's such a surreal experience. And I don't know, we all process emotions differently, but it definitely took a toll on my mental health, like, as I started going through the waves of life after it, because it's hard to get out of that world once you're in it, and it's hard to think about anything else. I mean, that people coming up to you or like saying, I love you so much, like, oh my God, I cried when you didn't win, or like something like that. And it's amazing that people feel that connected to you.
You're a complete
it's,
stranger and I know nothing about you. What's up?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
What do you react?
And it's amazing. I'm like, oh my God, I love meeting new people. I love everyone coming up to me. But it is like, it's a weird thing for someone to say that. So I mean, yeah, it takes a long story short. Yeah, it takes a toll on your mental health.
Yeah, holy crap. Fuck. Damn, Alex. I didn't even know any of this. Like, we never discussed this before.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, it's so much. It's like, no one has the time to listen to all of this trauma.
Yeah. Whoa. And then your relationship, like, tell us about that after and what happened.
Yeah. So we dated for, I don't even know, until like November. We got out in August. We both lived in California, so it was easier, I think, than other people that were dating cross country. But right after we got out, I broke my jaw when I was with him in San Diego. And that was one of
dramatic, like right after a reality TV show when people are like, oh, you're Alex.
Yeah.
Holy shit. By the way,
yeah,
this is
I'm like
you want to
quagmire.
tell people about the accident, because it's kind of fucked up, but like people should
No,
know
I
this.
can't.
Oh, can you not?
I can't tell them.
Oh, okay.
I know, but
holy crap.
Yeah, be careful out there.
Yeah, just be careful, guys. You never know when you might break your jaw. Just
no, it really is a tough one. But essentially, he was great.
Your jaw looks great now, so we're good. But yeah, so
Thanks.
You had the jaw accident, and then
yeah, he was great, but like that kind of injury and not having really any family out here to take care of me, I mean, it all fell on him, which is rough go at it. I mean, all praise to him for literally like staying in the hospital with me every night. So like such a kind soul for that. But it changed me in a way, and also the recovery's insane. So I just wasn't the same like upbeat person. I wasn't able to do anything. I was just laying in bed. So that takes a toll on the relationship. I also feel like everything is so much easier in the villa when you think about it, because yeah, everything's taken care for you. So like all you have to worry about is dating someone. I mean, your bills are being taken care of, you're getting paid, you're being fed. You don't have to literally do anything except shower and talk about your feelings. So it's really easy to think that you like someone.
Yeah,
because you
no
only have so many options and you have no real life problems.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So when you come out, I mean, you're hit with everything. You got to pay your bills. You got to pay your rent. You got to go back to your job or find a new job. Like all of these things that you kind of have to throw yourself back into on top of everything you're coming out to. It definitely makes you second guess. You're like, is this the right person? Definitely not. And I think almost every single person on my season probably had that realization, because I don't think anyone's together.
Yeah, that you guys realize you're not actually compatible.
Yeah, exactly. Like I mean, we don't talk, but we're civil.
Yeah, you guys are on
like
good terms.
Yeah,
What
we went through something weird together. That's
there's that. The
yeah.
so one of the things was after the show, you also obviously it changed your life and it changed you. You also had an insane following after the show, which I'm sure
Hmm.
that probably brought a shit ton of opportunities to you. And like, were you questioning, okay, what do I do next? Like, how did you, or did you decide I'm just going to go back to what I was doing? Like, tell us a little bit about what life was like after career wise after the show.
Yeah, I think it luckily knew so much about working with influencers on the brand side because I worked as a beauty publicist. So I kind of had the ins on that side. So I understood that part of it. So coming out, I was able to navigate who I should work with and who I shouldn't. And so I obviously started doing like brand promotions and influencer stuff. I don't identify as that, but
Kind of an
that's
influencer,
like
but yeah.
I influencer. But I wanted to do it, but I also needed to find a way to make it authentic, or I like genuinely just couldn't find a way to have it enjoyable for me. But I loved going live and talking to all of the people that have been so supportive and so nice and just like really helpful along the way. Just even by saying something, so minuscule, it makes you feel so much better about something you might be going through. But yeah, so I started doing influencer work, like going to events, but I also just really, really wanted to do something more. It just didn't feel like I was connecting with an audience. I was just like trying to sell them shit, which just feels so, I just like don't like that and it feels icky. So Elizabeth and I, Elizabeth, sorry for the spoiler, but she won my season. So we started a podcast it was during COVID, and it was called After the Island. And we basically wanted a platform for every person that was going on Love Island and coming off that got a really shitty edit to be able to come on to this YouTube channel that we created and be able to talk about their experience and literally just be themselves, be able to talk about whatever they wanted that didn't get shown on the show, that's something that happened that maybe got portrayed in such a weird way and painting them out to be the villain, or it's someone that everyone loved. And like, we talked to every single person that came off the show. It was so much fun to be able to connect to other people that have gone through the same thing. And that was kind of like the gist of it was, hey, we're here for you if you need us. Like, so we did that for 5 seasons and it was insane. And I like finally was just like, I think I need to do something else. But it was great. I learned so much about podcasting. I mean, audio equipment, everything. Like it really throws you into such a different world and you learn all these amazing things. So that was kind of my after, but I think even still to this day, I'm kind of like, what am I doing with my life? Like, what do I want to do next? Also, I feel like now that we're in our 30s, I feel like pretty much invincible. I'm like, we can do anything. Like, we can have any job we want. We don't have to like follow the rules. I think that's what's cool about LA and like reality TV, all this stuff. It throws you into a world where you don't have to have that 9 to 5 that everyone else like feels is necessary. You can make it and live like and have your own money and all that kind of shit by doing something that doesn't take up all your time and you're not working for someone else or making someone else money, or you get to be your own boss, which is amazing. But you have to have control over your schedule. You have to have a routine, because if you don't, you can lose yourself so easily.
Yeah, you got to keep yourself busy with like productive things. That was the biggest like mind fuck for me when I moved to LA, because yeah, the acting and this and that, but then there were people that were like faking it and actually like a server at Denny's, but then there were people that legitimately lived that life. And to be in such close contact and be amongst all these people that like really had money, who's, either their parents had it or like if they worked for themselves, it was like so unconventional. Like, I'm an interior designer. I create this, I do that. I have a blog that like now has millions of followers. And the fact that, yeah, it's tough in the beginning and it's a struggle, but like within a couple of years, meanwhile, everyone else is doing the same thing. and working a 9 to 5, these people were all like working on something that they really cared about that was super creative. And they worked 20 hours a week and they were driving like G-Wagons and Range Rovers and like going to the gym at 12:30. I thought it was so crazy. Like if I had a day where I could go to the gym in the middle of the day, I'd be like, why is the gym packed? Like everywhere
No,
else,
seriously.
it's empty at 12 o'clock. I'm like, why is the gym packed here at 12 o'clock on a Monday? Who the fuck has off?
No, it's like the traffic too. It's like, where's everyone going? Why are you not at your job? Because no one has one.
Yeah, no one
Like,
has a job in
it's-
LA. No one has a real job in LA.
Yeah, no one has a real job, which like I hate to say it because I like in all seriousness, like the creatives here are just people are so freaking creative. People are so funny. And obviously that's all around the world, but it's just such a hot spot for it here that you're like, what, this place is not real.
Yeah, LA like attracts because yeah, I don't think everyone's a native. Like LA attracts the best of the best from every single place, every single
Mhm.
town, every single city around the world. And I thought it was limited to the US. I was like, oh, like this person's from Chicago, this person's from Philly, New York, okay. But I realized, no, there's like people from fucking Europe, like Sweden. Like I met my wife in California and she's from Germany. So like
Insane.
yeah, it's insane. It's like it's so international and it's in very diverse city, diverse ideas. And
Mhm.
it's like crazy because on the East Coast, everyone's kind of homogenous and you're the same. And in LA, it's like weird if you're that. It's like you're boring, you have no personality. Like what makes you cool is that
Totally.
you're a weirdo and that you stand out and you do some different shit. But yeah, so LA is interesting. So yeah, and I would agree with you on your 30s. A similar journey. I went out there and I I thought I was going to be a dentist and that didn't work out and like completely took a different turn in life. Like and if it wasn't for LA, I don't think I would, because I was surrounded. It felt normal to think that way. And I was like, okay, I can have all
Mhm.
these loans. And if I rely on this, then for the rest of my life, I'm going to have to do this shit. Or I could just take a chance and like do something completely different. And what kind of lifestyle do I want? And it's only been a few years, but honestly, like, I'm not where I want to be 100%, but like Alex, like what the fuck, like doing this and having the
No,
balls to
like
do
I
this.
can't even imagine you being a dentist.
Yeah, like what the fuck, like having the balls to do this shit, and then also like I just traveled for like almost the entire year. I get to work from I can work from anywhere in the world. Like there's no way I would be able to do this otherwise. So I'm so grateful that
Yeah.
like, that city really inspired a lot. Now I want to change topics a little bit. We touched a little bit on relationships.
Okay.
You're single, but I think, and I've always been like, how
Sure
the fuck
am.
does Alex not find somebody? Alex is such a quality and amazing woman. She's so genuine. When she loves the people she loves and she lets people in, she really cares about them. She can talk your ears off. Like she'll talk. She's, there's never like a dull moment. You're never like just sitting around. And even if it's a dull moment, it's like, you're still at peace. Like she's one of my few friends, and I don't have this with everybody. Sometimes with friends, you feel like you always have to fill in the quiet moments. Alex is one of my friends where like we'd be hungover. I'd be like, Alex, like, do you want to just like go to the beach? And we would not say a word to each other in the car because we just didn't feel like looking at each other, talking to each other. But there was a sense of comfort being in each other's presence and like family basically. So
Mhm.
Alex is all around just a great person, comes from a great family, has great friends, but LA is not the best place to find future husband. And that's one of the things. I think it exists in all cities. It's probably true in Miami. It's probably true in New York City. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I want all my friends to be fucking married to dope people. I want us to all travel the world together. Our kids to be friends with each other. For my kids to call you like Auntie Alex. So what's up? Like, tell us, because there's a lot of fucking girls suffering. I have younger sisters that like tell me about some of their stories when they go on dates, and it's a shit show out there. So what was it like? I know you had a relationship out of college,
Mhm.
and then that was turmoil kind of in LA, and then you kind of went on. So tell us about dating life in Los Angeles and in your 20s.
Yeah. So, I mean, where do I start? I obviously, like you said, LA is a melting pot. I'm sure there's someone here for people, but there's so many options. I feel that's what guys have great options. There are so many cool fucking girls out
Yeah,
there.
100%.
You know how many not cool guys are out there? It's wild. But I really, after Love Island and Dylan and I broke up, I kind of took a really long time off from dating just because I was like, I don't want to give anyone access to me for a while. I don't want to feel obligated to like talk about my relationship status to people asking. Like, everyone feels entitled to like your relationship information once you go on one of these shows. It's like, it's really wild. So I kind of was like, I need to find my peace again, find myself again, and figure out what I actually want, because this ain't it. So I did the dating apps. I like downloaded Hinge. I got literally banned from Hinge. So
Why?
I was like,
how do
you
you
know,
get banned
maybe
from
that's
it?
not for me.
Oh,
I think they thought I wouldn't connect my Instagram. So I think someone reported me as like a catfish
oh my
because they
God.
thought it was a fake profile.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, okay, this isn't even worth fighting. I don't even care enough. So I was like, okay, no dating apps for me. I don't like them anyway. It's just, I think they're weird, but I digress. So I kind of took a second. I watched all my friends date and I was horrified at the things that they were going through. Like you said, like,
Yeah. Like who they meet, like who you encounter. It's like people show themselves one way on like the profiles and then you meet them and it's like someone completely different. Or like random weird shit comes up during the date and you're like, get me the fuck out of here.
yeah. Yeah. And it's just, I was like, you know, I don't really want to feel weird one-on-one with someone out to dinner. Like, I'm gonna chill on this. So I did. And then I started dating and I loved athletes. I loved the men that are never going to get wifed up. And if they are, it's not going to be to me. So they're just like, all of them. Yeah, that's not it. I know it's really fun in your 20s. So like, do you if you want to do it. But they're probably going to break your heart. If you're the exception, I love that. But I'm like, wow, I'm really bad at giving advice on this.
No, you're good. Do your best.
I
like
think
kind of I
it's-
just put you on the spot, so it's all good.
I'm like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of girls, I don't want to generalize it because I don't know, but I feel like it's so important to actually focus on yourself and your career and make your own shit happen. And the other stuff will come. Like, I just started focusing on me. I started doing everything that I really always wanted to do. Like, I've always wanted to do music. And I'm just terrified of people thinking I'm really bad or like the judgment of it all, or, oh my God, you're 30 and you're trying to like be a singer, like relax. That kind of stuff. I focused on that and was like, why do I feel that way about myself? Because if I feel that way about me, someone else is going to feel that way about me too.
Yeah.
So I wanted to literally be able to like hone in on everything that I was insecure about or just always wanted to do and find a way to master it or at least overcome the fear of it all. And once I did that, I started really liking myself and enjoying my own company. And then now, like, this sounds ridiculous, but just quality men come to you when you are that way. And I just feel like that's the number one thing. You have to have your own shit going on because, and I get it, because the minute you meet a man that's gonna be so bad for you, you're like, oh, okay, cool. My life's about to be ruined and I'm gonna be left in pieces after it all. And this guy's gonna just go on to the next. So again, it all circles back to know yourself, know your worth, and actually like yourself, because if someone breaks up with you, you're not going to give a fuck because you still have you.
Yeah, and you said a lot of like crazy things. I've seen this like again with other people, and it's so true because if you make it too much about the other person, it just drives you into a deeper hole versus like, okay, this is the stuff I care about. And isn't it so weird also like in our 20s we put so much pressure on ourselves with like, I need to be here at a certain time. We put like all these timelines. We're like, okay, like in the next 10 years. And now we're like more relaxed, even if shit hasn't happened and worked out the way we're like, oh, it's all good. It'll just work out. Like with relationships, with work, it's like we're more chill about it entering our 30s than we were in our 20s. And 20s, for whatever reason, I think it's like society as a whole probably puts pressure on you and the timeline. So you freak yourself out. And if you could just, like, we could have also just been chill about everything in our early 20s and we would have already been further ahead. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. No, it's like the let them theory. Like I always think about that. If we just in our 20s, if someone did us wrong, we were like, just let them show us who we are, instead of like fighting tooth and nail, like full on wars to try to like, keep these people in our lives, when like we're looking back and we're like, look at you now. They're not even there. Who cares? Like, if we just let it go and let them let everyone just come in and out of your life and flow. And if they stick, like, that's great. But also if they don't, it doesn't have to be the end of the world.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
not
feel
that
like I
deep.
wish that I could tell myself that, because it was always the end of the world for me.
What's one thing out of all the things that you wish you could share with younger Alex, like 21-year-old Alex Stewart?
God, that you're literally gonna love yourself and you're gonna have a cool life, that you actually would be shocked to be able to like look at your life and say, I can't believe I did that. And like, I'm so proud of you.
So chillax, it's all going to be okay.
Yeah, literally chill. That honestly, just shake, chill,
Yeah.
and then leave her be.
Your growth has been crazy, because even I feel like your energy is like so much more calming now. And when we first met, you were so like in not even in a bad way. I mean, I was like a
Yeah.
fucking crackhead sometimes. Like, we'd go out like, Alex, we need a party. We need to go do this. We need to do that. I think obviously I give a lot of credit to my wife, but like, I think, like you said, you just get so comfortable in yourself and you understand everything is okay. You become more centered with time. And I think that also just comes from life experience, right? You're like,
Mhm.
I could live life that way, or I could just be this way. And I think this way is better, so I can protect my peace.
Yep, exactly. And that's so important, protecting your peace.
Yeah. And that doesn't
It's the
stop.
most
You
important
gotta like
thing.
keep doing it. But I think, yeah, with practice, it just gets easier and easier.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that I don't act like it's the end of the world sometimes when something happens and I'm like, yo, check yourself.
Check yourself.
It's not that serious.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, yo, I have moments, I don't want to say like when I slip, but like when I get in, like go back into like things that like trigger me, and I kind of go back to my old self, whether I get angry about shit or like become dramatic or like go into just like bad habits. And before it was like, man, like it's happening again. I used to make such a big deal out of it. I'm like, fuck, man, what's happening to me? Like I would just get worked up about it. Now I'm just like, Dill, like, nah, just like snap out of it. You know what I mean? Like move on, like
Yeah.
relax, like leave that behind. It's all good. Wake up tomorrow. It's actually a new day. And when people say like it's a new day, they mean like it literally is a new fucking day to just start
Literally.
over and just do whatever you want to do. It's a real thing. And I think most people, they attach this narrative or story of whatever it is or whatever patterns they have, but like it's really as easy as it sounds. When you want to break a pattern of your personality, of a habit, whatever, it's literally as soon as you decide to do it, it's already done. And you just move on and you do something else.
It's so true. And like, if you fuck up, like you said, you can literally just start again.
It doesn't matter.
No one cares. Everyone else is thinking about their own damn self. They literally don't give a shit. Like,
Yeah.
They might laugh at you for 5 seconds, but no one cares. Just do you. That's it. And in your 20s, you have no idea. You think everyone gives a shit. You're so, especially like the younger generation. I see this with my younger sister. They are so fixated on like doing everything perfectly, because social media, they see everybody posting the final picture that's all edited, and like how someone's so skilled at one thing. It's like that person probably did that 1,000 times before they posted that, or they edited it or whatever. Yep.
So they have this like perception. So to everybody that's younger, that's listening, just, it doesn't matter. It's really not that deep. And again, that's one of the reasons why I made this podcast, is because you're literally like, if you don't fuck up and if you don't fail or if you don't make mistakes and shit, you'll never get to where you want to get to. That's literally part of the entire process. And in your 20s, don't make your failures or mistakes or, you know, shitty dates or dating the wrong guy or like picking the wrong job or whatever. Don't attach that to your identity and make it like something that's a part of you. Just throw it out and move on. Just keep going.
Yeah. You can literally change everything. Like, it's so easy. It's just, you just have to get yourself there. And I feel like self-reflection is a crazy thing that I didn't do in my 20s, for sure.
When did you start like reflecting more? I know, because it's also for us, like where we're from, it's weird to talk about shit like that. Like, oh yeah, like I journal,
Yes.
I reflect. Oh yeah, like in LA, it's pretty like, oh, I went to my therapist, but like it wasn't like, now it's becoming more of like a normalized thing. But in our early 20s, it wasn't normal. It was like, oh shit, you have some serious fucking issues if you're going to a therapist.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like, yeah, talking about any of that stuff. I've always journaled because I've always been into writing and that kind of stuff. So, but I don't think I was ever really honest with what I was writing. And now I'm like, oh, if someone finds my diary, like, they're gonna call the police. Like the things I'm writing down, sometimes I'm like, can I put this in writing?
Some dark shit, Alex. I'm kidding.
I mean, like, but you gotta do it, because then you don't have to go and read it back, but you gotta get it out.
Yeah, yo, I'm the same. I've been actually journeying for a long time, and I'll never go, like, maybe like 10 years later, like I'll go and read like one little thing.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't even want to read it. I just do it so it's like out of my head and like doesn't exist.
Exactly. It's just like a brain dump. You just have to get it out on paper, and then you can free up other space in your brain to think about something else.
Yeah. All right. So Alex, to wrap it up, what's next for Alex Stewart? What does this next decade look like? What are some of the things you're working on? How can people keep up with you? Like, what's next? Is it another reality show? Are you going to start another podcast? Like, I don't know. Surprise us. What's next?
I'm like, I'm going to surprise myself. I have no idea. Recently gotten into music, so I want to get into that space somehow, like whether it's just working in the industry or any of that kind of stuff. I just love it, and I always have, and I finally like realized that's really where I want to be.
Like singing or like producing music? What specifically?
I mean, I kind of do it all, just because I learned so much from podcasting that I can kind of produce stuff. I play the guitar and I sing, but I do like classes, and I do a workshop every Wednesday that they make you get up and sing in front of everyone, which has been really good, but it's fucking terrifying. So I'll keep doing that. I'll probably keep it to myself, because this is for me. It's not for anyone else right now. It might change in the future, but I'm taking time to just like learn about me and what I really actually want to do. You know, I'm posting on Instagram, which I took a break from. So I'm doing that, and I still work as a publicist. So if you need any publicity, hit me up.
Alex Stewart, ladies and gentlemen. Alex, I'm going to post your Instagram if you want to just tell people what your Instagram is so they can follow you and see what you're up to. Maybe whenever you start your singing career or whatever else is next. What's your Instagram?
It's Alex Stewart 11.
Alex Stewart, and I'll post that in the show notes, and you guys can follow Alex's journey. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud to call you my friend. I'm so fucking excited. Like,
I love you.
Like, look at us, Alex. Like, look at us. And
I know.
This is only the beginning, and it's going to be fucking crazier and crazier. A decade from now, who knows where we're going to be, what's going to be happening. Maybe you'll be out on stages or like singing in Madison Square Garden. You never know. You really honestly never. Like, imagine 10 years ago if I was like, yeah, Alex, like, you're going to be on a reality TV show. Everyone's going to watch you. We're going to be living in LA. And some of the shit, I don't even want to get into it, but like, guys, we've had some insane experiences in LA. Like once in a lifetime experiences. Like,
wild.
It's like things that you can't, I would have never ever guessed or imagined. It's like out of a movie. So it's insane where life can take you.
My life is a movie.
Yeah. And life is crazy. And I think one of the things is a constant theme. And I've from just listening to Alex is like, even when you don't want to, and it doesn't make 100% sense, just put yourself out of your comfort zone, because you don't know what's on the other side of that.
Perfect summation.
Alex, you're the best.
I am so proud of you. I literally love you so much, and I'm so happy we got to catch up. We're obviously probably going to text in 5 seconds.
I'll probably call you after, but thank you, Alex. Thank you so much.
Well, I have to go to the dermatologist, but call me after that.
All right, sounds good. We'll catch up. Thank you so much, Alex. Appreciate it. I hope you guys all enjoyed this
Okay,
episode.
love you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.